Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Christina and I am here with two tarot decks for comparing and contrasting the images because these are the types of exercises I like to do to learn a new deck. It's also an exercise for me to reacquaint myself with the Secrets of Paradise Tarot, because I said when I got it, I said that I would work with it and then do a review. I haven't been working with it enough to do a review, so this is just me doing a walkthrough of this deck, and yeah, I hope you like it. I hope my babbling makes sense. I'm gonna be referencing a lot of my culture, and by the way, I'm from Puerto Rico, so this deck is inspired by Caribbean and Latin American culture and mysticism. It was created by Leticia Ferrer Rivera, and the artwork was created by Laura Bello. Okay, disclaimer. I am a cardstock snob. I don't like the cardstock in this deck. It's difficult to work with. My hands are small, and this cardstock is very hard to bend. I don't know if we can see the difference in the... Can we see them? No. Okay. Wrong. Okay. So yeah, a few criticisms I have to say for the artwork in itself. I believe that the sky used, the color of the sky, it's quite dull, and it's the same throughout the different cards that are set in daylight. I would have liked to see more bright and saturated colors of blue. The colors, I find that the colors in the Caribbean are so bright and so saturated, that I find these colors here a bit bland. We don't see a lot of the nuances of the light and shadow and color. So that's just me being very snobby, I think. I don't know. That might be that might be just me being annoying. But anyways, so we have a few titles that have been changed in this deck. Oh, another thing about the cardstock. For some reason, it's bending. It's just a bit annoying because I haven't used this deck, and since I got it, much. Apart from me complaining about so many different things, I really like this deck. It's just the cardstock itself is like difficult to work with, so that has been stopping me, apart from life sending me a bunch of death and tower energy coming my way. So I've been a bit preoccupied so with my time. So okay, the Fool, El Bobo, it's card number 0, and El Bobo is referring to Juan El Bobo, who is Juan the Fool, who is usually the butt of the joke in local jokes, you know, and in folklore stories. He's usually very innocent and naive, and gets taken advantage of, and I think it's a very good reference for the Fool card. I also like that we have the sunburst in each card, in both cards, and he is holding a machete with one of his hands and holding the donkey. And he's not only leading himself, he is also leading the donkey to his doom. But maybe the donkey will be smart enough to stop him. So we have La Bruja instead of the magician. And La Bruja is standing in front of the Capilla del Cristo, which is a chapel of Christ in Old San Juan. It does have the triple moon, which it doesn't exist in the real chapel. But yeah, oh, I've just noticed her belt has the limnisk. That's how that symbol's called, right? Anyway, we also have the table, which has a knife, cards, the broom, her hand on the broom, and the pentacle on the floor, and then a cauldron. So practically all the elements, all the suits are represented here. And we have a bit of a callback to the next card, which is the High Priestess. She has a deck of cards in her table, and it's the High Priestess card that's on top. So that says a bit about maybe the continuation of the cards, the order of the major arcana, or maybe it has something to do with the Bruja having a bit of the High Priestess as well as the magician. I'm not sure. There is a comment in the guidebook that says that a witch is always a witch. Not only is she or he or them valid or present or represented in Samhain or Halloween, they exist all year round. Moving on to the High Priestess, we have a woman with a fan, and the fan has Tora right here. I don't know how close I can go. Yep. Oh, and those are pomegranates. Nice. So we have a lot of the symbols represented. We have the pillars and the pomegranates that are in the blanket behind the High Priestess. She, instead of holding a scroll that says Tora, her fan is what she's holding, and she's holding it close to her, sort of like keeping a secret. And she has the moon as well at her feet, and an added companion with the little cat. So instead of the Empress, we have the Goddess, and it is referencing Atabey, which is a Taino goddess. And you can see her right here, her petroglyph carved into the stone. That's the symbol that is found in Utuado, in the ceremonial center of Caguana, in the center of the island in Puerto Rico. And they added a physical human representation of what she would look like, or you know, how she can be represented as a human, I guess. And I think this is a very beautiful card. Now, instead of the Emperor, we have the God, and it's Jogahu, I think. Yes, it's representing the Taino Semi and creator Jokahu. So a semi is this, a three-pointed stone sculpture object that was used as representation of the divine spirits, I guess. Or oh, also it's raining. Do you see the rain? Yeah. Let me search the book so that I don't talk out of my elbow. Okay, so the god replaces the emperor and depicts the Taino Semi and creator Jokahu. In this illustration, you can also see the three-pointed semi stone, which in the Taino religion houses a god, spirit, or ancestor. Next, we have the high priest instead of the Hierophant. And honestly, he looks like a character from Farandula, from like the tabloids, or a character from a telenovela, honestly, or a singer. I don't know. It doesn't mention in the book who this person is, or is representing, or who is the inspiration behind this character. By the way, the book, it has a few spreads at the beginning, as well as how to use the Secrets of Paradise Tarot, cleansing your deck, opening and closing your practice, Salsa Tarot spread, and then we jump right into the Major Arcana. And with the Major Arcana, we have, for example, with El Bobo, we have a blurb about what the card is depicting, and then the meaning of the card. So it's a lot of information that you get with each card. Let's see. With the Minor Arcana, we have the different suits, and there's also as much information as we see in the majors. And then we have the Pentacles, the Wands, the Cups and the Swords, and then finally, something that's different about this this deck is that the suits and the I don't know if you can call it a fifth suit or something, but the court cards are called La Familia, and they have different titles. They're not really consistent, like Page, Knight, Queen and King, or Princess, Prince, Queen, and no, what was it? Princess, Knight, Queen and King, I think. I don't know how Thoth cards are. I haven't studied Thoth. So we'll see this when we get to the court cards and the suits. But yeah, that's an aside. Sorry, I don't know how to do these videos. So on and on and on we continue. Okay, so something interesting we have is that the Wheel of the Year is above the Hierophant. So the lovers are dancing together, and there is a little weird naked baby with a Walkman. Is that a Walkman? Oh no, that's an iPhone. iPhone? Maybe, I don't know. That is just, he's listening to music while the other people dance in the discoteca and are like falling in love, or just enjoying their time together while dancing and having fun and all that. It's cute. The Chariot. We have Walter Mercado in the chariot as the leader, as the driver of the chariot. And we have two beautiful horses, and there are palm trees in the background, and it's just it's just cute. I like it. We see that the carriage has been moving because the cape is flowing behind him majestically. Here we have Strength, and it's the picture of a woman, and she has the lemnis above her head, and she has a lion in chains, which I don't quite like that. I would prefer her just hanging out with the lion instead of having control with the chains. And yeah, it's just a little thought of mine. She is currently in El Castillo Serralle in Ponce, which is the south of Puerto Rico. There is a lot of Puerto Rican references here in this deck because I think the author is Puerto Rican. But there are also other parts of Latin America represented. Just not as much as what is represented from Puerto Rico though. So instead of the Hermit, we have Wisdom. And here is a picture of the three wise men of the Epiphany story in Christianity. In Puerto Rico, it is a very Christian dominated island, I guess. Like the main religion is Christianity in its different forms, right? And can be it Catholic, be it evangelical, be it I don't know what else. It's been a while. But yeah, these are the Reyes Magos de Juana Díaz, which are the wise men of Juana Díaz, which is one of the municipalities in Puerto Rico. The Hermit is renamed as Wisdom, which I get it, but I really like the iconic image of the Hermit, but that's just me. So instead of the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Wheel of the Year. And we have these sigils that I'm not sure what they mean. And we have the Wheel of the Year in the middle instead of the Wheel of Fortune, which is still, it's still a wheel, so you'll still have up and down, but it's not necessarily the same as Wheel of Fortune, I think. It's pictured in El Yunque, which is the national rainforest in Puerto Rico. I'm reading the book, and it says the symbols of the four main archangels are the elements and the elements correspond to the four directions, making this card a sort of travel size altar. So Raphael is in the east and yellow, connected to earth, air. Sorry. Michael is on the south, summer season, color red, and connected to fire. Gabriel is on the west, autumn season, color blue, and connected to water. And Uriel is in the north, winter season, color green, connected to earth. Okay, So it's the sigils indicating the archangels. Okay. Justice is justicia, which is justice in Spanish. It is a woman dressed half as Catrina from the Day of the Dead celebration on the shadow side, and half in another style of Mexican folkloric dress. The scenery is showing a trajinera, a type of boat with beautiful color decorations from Xochimilco, Mexico. And the boat itself says karma. So there we go. So the hangman has been replaced by discipline. And it says in the text behind the figures, it says Paradise Salsa Congress 2020. So it's a reference to the discipline that these dancers need to have to practice and to be on their A game for this competition. So death. Instead of death coming in a horse, we have two Taino men drowning a Spaniard. This card represents the legend of the death of Spanish conquistador Diego Salcedo at the hands of Taino in the Rio Grande de Añasco in 1511. His death proved to be a pivotal moment for the Taínos, after which they rebelled against the Spaniards. The semi-deity of Maquetaurie Guayaba, the sweet bat who guides souls to the underworld, is painted as a petroglyph on the rock. Maquetaurie Guayaba is waiting for Diego Salcedo's soul so it can guide him too. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I learned about this story in school. So temperance. We have a dancer and a fountain. This card takes place at La Plaza de Guayama, Puerto Rico. Guayama is called the Witch's Town, a nickname that traces its origin to a popular story in which residents of the city would bring a plant called hoja bruja, or witch leaf, to baseball games. They would try to scare the opposing team by pretending to cast spells on them, eventually leading to the team adopting the hoja bruja as their symbol. Another story tells that the nickname comes from a baseball player from the local team named Moncho el Brujo, who, according to legend, owed his success as a pitcher to witchcraft. So not a lot of temperance symbology in that in this card. But then the meaning of the card says, temperance is all about finding the perfect measures, the perfect balance, and the perfect temperature. It can be literally for cooking or working at a science lab, or it can be symbolic. As a significator, it represents a perfectionist. This card is also about testing the waters first before proceeding to open your home or heart to someone or a situation. The church in the background of the card image is a reminder to maintain our soul and spirit. If we do not take care of these parts of ourselves, we will not be in balance. It can also be a sign to proceed with caution. Be careful how close you get to the water and where you are stepping so you do not lose your balance or slip. You should be capable of recognizing when to step away and do not approach a scenario where you might end up in harm's way. Take your time and don't hurry. Stop rushing. Work on technique. Anyone can dance at a frantic, fast pace, but only the best dancers are supported by their technique, balance, and control through a slow song. That part about dancing the dancer technique and all of that. I can see it in the image. What I cannot see is the relationship of Guayama to this card, other than it be the place where the card is being set. That's about it. So yeah, for this deck, I am thinking that the book is essential for those who are part of the culture as well as not part of the culture. That way you can get the references. And yeah, the devil, temptations, a passionate dance of flamenco. Flamenco? No, that's tango. Oh my god. That's tango. Not flamenco. Okay. Moving on. I like this card. It is the Tower, and it is showing a storm. It is showing a hurricane, and a tower that is in El Yunque, the national rainforest in Puerto Rico. It is very into the mountain. I haven't been there, but I've seen it from afar. So it's pretty cool that it's there. And yeah. So the star is Yemaya. She is the Orisha of the ocean in Santeria. The water she pours from the conch shells in her hands represents renewal, nourishment, and purification. So there's references to Santeria in this deck as well. The moon is being held by a mermaid. And there's a manatee. I love it. Okay, so the moon is La Luna. And it is it dripping? The moon is dripping. And it is set between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. There's this turtle and a little crab, and both represent the protective animals of each island. Creatures who can survive against all odds. There's a manatee. I love the manatee. It's so cute. Okay. And there are these stars as well. Constellations, I guess. Let me check the book. Cancer. Okay. That's La Luna. And then the sun is renamed to Gwei. And that is a Taino symbol up there representing the sun, with a small Taino boy in a canoe going around in a river. So nice. I really like and appreciate that this symbol is the sun. There are many symbols that can represent the sun in Taino culture, and this is another one of them. Ta-da! This is a painting I made. Okay, that's it. So, judgment. We have Maketauri Guayaba, the god of the bat god. And then we have the world, but instead of the world, we have Madre Tierra, which is Mother Earth. And there are many animals represented here that are not part of Puerto Rico, except for this one. This little frog is called the Coqui. It sings a song like... Okay. So this card that replaces the world depicts the ceiba tree from Puerto Rico. Animals from Africa, Spain, Uruguay, and Puerto Rico appear on the card, as well as the sun and the moon, two celestial bodies vital for the life of the planet. So the ceiba is a very It's a very majestic tree. It's huge. It grows so large. And the roots are humongous. It's like I am 5 feet and 2 inches. Some of those roots are taller than I am. It's truly a majestic tree. It's impressive. So I like that it's part of the world card here. Yeah, it's nice that they included the animals from Uruguay because the illustrator is from Uruguay. So that's a nice touch there. And we have the universe, which is a new major arcana. Which you would think that the universe would be similar to the world, but I think it is bigger than that. We are not alone. Our planet is just one house in a neighborhood called the universe. Some tarot decks in the Tarot de Marseille system have the universe card, as most Rider-Waite-Smith decks have the world card. But both are needed to complete the system. So she combined the universe card from the Marseille system into this deck, which I find interesting. And then we have 2 unnumbered major arcana as well, coexist and healing. So coexist, let me go see meaning for both. This is a card with a special message added to the major arcana, but it has no number because it is not traditionally part of a tarot deck. This card can be removed and pulled as a positive message for the end of the reading, or it can be part of the main reading. It depicts people who represent different religions or spiritual paths, all in harmony and coexisting together. From left to right, Santera, or woman who practices candomblé, Buddhist monk, Wicca high priestess, Catholic priest, and Indian bride representing the Hindu religion. And then, healing. Acceptance is the first step toward healing. Crystals and stones have been used for different purposes around the world, from treating physical, spiritual, and mental ailments to wearing them as jewelry. You can shuffle this card along with the rest of the deck, or you can set it aside and not use it at all. Okay. On with the minor arcana. Okay. This is cool because it's showing a peso, like $1 type of thing, currency, coin from La Isla de Puerto Rico, and that's the island of Puerto Rico, and it's showing another a pentacle here, and then this is El Morro, which is a castle, a defense castle from Spaniards from the years of the Huacara, a long time ago, by the way, and yeah, it's just nice to see that there. And yeah, and here we have like direct reference to the Lemnisk and both pentacles here with the DJ's mixing board. What is that called? And it has the text, which takes me out of the image a bit, but it gives the message across that it's combining 2 different genres of music. So that is interesting, and you would think also that music would be like cups territory, but it is coming out into the physical world. So I guess I understand why it's also in the pentacles. Here we have drummers and a dancer of bomba, which is a typical dance style and music style from Puerto Rico, from the Afro-Caribbean culture or ancestry. Ancestry? Is that the right word? And it signals a cooperation between the drummers and the dancer. So the idea of bomba is that the dancer marks the steps with different moves of their skirts and their steps and whatnot, and the drummer needs to follow that rhythm, and it becomes like a game or a competition between the drummer and well, not a competition, a cooperation, I guess, of the drummer and the dancer. Yeah, and it is set in Old San Juan. Okay. Okay, another beef I have with this deck, it has weird perspective. So we have a Vejigante here. And he is right next to these drummers, pleneros, which are taller than he is. So I don't get it. I'm confused. But that's beside the point. We have Four of Pentacles. And wait a minute, this is confusing. The Four of Pentacles usually has to do with greed and with, I read it a lot like saving money, because I gotta save money. So I need to hold back my resources. But this is more like a party. It reminds me a lot of the Four of Wands, but it's not the Four of Wands, it's the Four of Pentacles. So let's go to the guidebook and see what it says. Not all valuable things come in the form of currency or money. On this occasion, the person asking the cards a question is trying to preserve and hold on to whatever they can or have left. It can mean they are saving money and in a comfortable place, or are overly attached to what they have in a miserly, greedy way. This person is in a state of panic because they failed to plan ahead, so they will have to find a swift resolution. There are a lot of assumptions in this book about the intent of the querent. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, I don't think this is one of the images where I'm left thinking that the image doesn't really reflect the meaning of the card, because it mentions the pleneros as well. Okay. So this is an illustration of the plena music instruments played by musicians called pleneros. They use either 4 different sizes of hand drums called panderos, or 3 drums and 1 guiro, made from a gourd. The Vejigante is part of the carnival characters, and this one has a papier-mâché mask characteristically from Ponce, Puerto Rico, where the plena music is originally from. Okay, I guess I understand why the 4 pleneros are there. But again, it doesn't really relate to the meaning of the card of Four of Pentacles, so I am just confused. So the Five of Pentacles shows which place is it? Come on. Okay, so here St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City is depicted on Ash Wednesday, an important Catholic holiday that marks the beginning of the Lenten season of fasting and repentance that brings together the Catholic Latinx community all over the world. This illustration also shows pentacles on the windows of the church as a representation of pagan traditions adopted by the Catholic Church. This one, on the other hand, is very similar to the well, not very similar, but it is similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith card that is representing, that is, yeah. And the only thing is that the figures in the card are very well dressed, so there's not that that added symbolism or aspect of needing help. It's more of a representation of what the Catholic religion, or of one of their holidays, I guess, rather than a representation of needing help and having it right there, or just needing to reach out for help, like they need to do. Ooh, so here we have a person that is selling quenepas. Quenepas are these little fruits. They have like a really hard exterior, and you just bite into it, take out the cap that forms, and then you just suck on the pulp of the fruit, and it's so good. It's been so long since I've eaten a quenepa. I kind of miss it a lot. And yeah, this is what usually happens is that the person selling the quenepa, in order to show how good they are, they give you a sample. They give you one of the quenepas that they're selling from the bunch, and then you taste it, and obviously it's gonna be so good that you're gonna have to buy it. So there's that. Seven of Pentacles. By the way, he's sitting in the surf. So his pants must be very, very wet. So patience and seeing when one is ready to move forward, or reaping the benefits of the cosecha, of the harvest, is very different from the Rider-Waite-Smith version. We have the alignment of the chakras in the palm tree, and the focus of the person in the surf, sitting and meditating, which I can see. I can see the relation between the two. So here we have a crafter or artesano, craft person that is making drums for bomba. Actually, let me check on something. Okay, this card illustrates an artisan creating bomba drums from Puerto Rico, not to be confused with Cuban congas or any other type of drums, which are made from rum or wine barrels with a goat skin on the top. Yeah. This card is taking place in the sunken gardens of the Warner Castle in Rochester, New York, where I had my wedding. New York State has a large Hispanic population. There are some cards that just have that type of blurb. They relate mostly to the author's life herself, which is it's okay. It's her deck, so it makes sense. Independence, women alone, and taking charge of the world, or at least their lives. This looks like a scene from a telenovela, a historic telenovela, but it is not. It is... Okay, This card illustrates a scene from a formal event at Casa España in Old San Juan, Puerto Rico, in the 1800s. It depicts a couple and the woman's chaperone. The woman's fan is open. She is using the language of the Spanish fan to indicate she likes him. Oh, that's cute. I have been to Casa España. It's very fancy. It's a very, very fancy place. It's also a very cool place to have your wedding, which I've been to a wedding in Casa España, and it was fun. It was so much fun. Okay. Okay, so here we have the Princess of Pentacles, and she's holding a maraca. Okay, hold on. Okay, this card illustrates a bombera, meaning a woman who sings, dances, or plays bomba, holding a maraca and singing lead vocals. In Puerto Rico, there is only one maraca, and it should not be mistaken with the doble, instruments from Cuba. Okay, I have trouble with the court cards normally, so this is going to take me some time to learn. I'm just going to flip through them. Okay, now this I think is flamenco, and she has the castañuelas that and there is the Queen of Pentacles, the cover of the book, and the little crab, and the riches from pirates. And here is a man playing a flute with a cobra. I think it's referencing Morocco. Let me check. Yep. This card shows two musicians in Medina at Marrakech, Morocco, in Africa, with a king cobra. They are playing the mizmar and the bendir, an instrument very similar to the panderos in Puerto Rico. This card shows the relationship between African and Mediterranean music and the Hispanic culture. Wands! Okay, so here is a bit of what I mentioned. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the perspective in this deck is kind of weird. Look at that big hand and that tiny little broom. It's so weird. And that tiny little hat, it's like barely a witch hat. It needs to be pointier, but that's just me. Okay, moving on. That's another Sol Taino. Surfers. Okay. A wedding. We're gonna have a wedding. A wedding. A wedding. Okay. Ah. Hi. Hola. My cat says hello. Can you hear her purr? Okay. So this, I believe, is set in Cuba. This card illustrates an LGBT couple getting married in front of La Catedral de La Habana in Havana, Cuba. Yes. And then this shows a competition of sorts. What is it? Here, two men are engaged in a Puerto Rican rhythmical fighting style similar to capoeira from Brazil, called coco ballet. Coco ballet is always practiced to bomba rhythms. It's the first time I hear about coco ballet. I want to see this. A jockey. Here we have a capoeira fighter, dancer. This card illustrates a man doing capoeira, a Brazilian martial art on the beach in Brazil. Several musical instruments typically used in capoeira, an atabaque drum, a pandeiro, and 7 berimbaus are in the background. We have more berimbaus as the wands. Nine of Wands. This modern businesswoman represents a new generation of descendants from enslaved ancestors back in the 1700s. She is not in the sugarcane field to labor, but to supervise her fields and inspect the product for sale. Orgánico, organic, 10 of Wands. That is sugar cane. Okay, so some of you might be like, what is that? That's a pig on a stick. It's a traditional part of Puerto Rican cuisine, like roasting a pig, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Another jockey. Ooh, that I know him. He is... This card depicts a cuatro player in the Plaza de Colón. Quique is inspired as he plays the Flor de Otoño, which translates to autumn flower. Cuatro is a typical string instrument from Puerto Rico, mostly used in Seises de la Montaña and sometimes in plena. Seises de la Montaña is a music and dance genre from the 1800s. For plena, visits for plena visit 4 of Pentacles. And now we have, instead of a sword, a machete with a pava. La pava is this hat. It's typically used in the countryside by the Jibaros. Okay, so this is an iconic image, for me at least. It's like this tower is the tower of the University of Puerto Rico, my alma mater. And there are 2 fencing people, competitors, and they are in a battle and competition and all that good stuff, which it's confusing comparing it to the Rider-Waite-Smith. And here is a mask of a vejigante. And this mask is most likely made from a coconut head. Yeah. Let me check the book. Raúl Ayala is one of several artisans who create vejigante masks from Loíza. And this card illustrates one made of coconut. That's about it. Now the swords are represented by fans. And she's resting in her bed. And here we have pirates. And this says El Mosquito, which means the mosquito. Duh. And it's a clear reference of the Rider-Waite-Smith version. Only that these two are like, what are you doing? And here we have again Maquetauria Guayaba leading the soul of a lady out into the underworld, through a river. And another pirate, this time with more swords. And this is in Old San Juan. I know that much. This card illustrates the mangrove swamp in Costa Rica. A native jacana bird is seen walking on the right. Mangroves. I like mangroves. They're stinky though. And she is crying. And we have a combination of swords and fans. And there are some constellations in the background, in the window. This woman's room has 4 swords, 3 Spanish fans, and a pagan rosary, which represents faith in the divine. Swords are weapons, but so are the Spanish fans. In the 1800s, women throughout Latin America and the Caribbean would use the language of the fan to secretly communicate with their male suitors, telling them if they liked them or if they wanted to break up. That's very dramatic. This is even more dramatic. Oh my God, what the heck happened to him? This image depicts the beautiful and lush Jardín Botánico de Montevideo, botanical gardens in Montevideo, Uruguay. Yeah, but what happened with the characters? That would be a scene from a telenovela. Easy. And now we have the Princess of Swords. A Dame of Swords. See, it's weird. The Queen of Swords. And the King of Swords. That is Don Cholito. It says Comedia, comedy. He used to be a character made by Jose Miguel Agrelot. And he used to appear in TV and make jokes and do, you know, stand up and whatnot. And we're nearing the end, the last suit, cups, the suit of cups. We have the Virgin Mary and the, oh my God, a clam with a pearl, dripping water into the ocean, and Puerto Rico right underneath. That's my island. That's where I come from. Not there, the painting, the place. Okay. Here we have dancers. Dancing salsa, most likely. So here we have piraguas, which is shaved ice with flavor syrup. It's good. On a hot summer day, it's refreshing. But also very sweet, so you might be like overly sweetened. So something I've noticed is that I get so distracted by the references in this deck that I sometimes forget or will not relate to the meaning of the card in the Rider-Waite-Smith. So having this side-by-side comparison is also helping me remember what the card is supposed to depict and what is supposed to be happening or be represented here. Okay, so this one has me very confused because it's a woman and she's smiling, and she has a fan, and she is dressed as a bomba dancer. But then there are 2 drums in the background, 3 drums in the foreground, and they're both different types of drums. So I am just gonna go see what the heck is happening here. Okay, 5 of Cups. This card showcases the traditions of drumming in Uruguay and Puerto Rico. On one side of the street there are bomba drums with the star from the Puerto Rican flag. On the other side there are candombe drums with the sun from the Uruguayan flag. Uruguay and Puerto Rico share a very similar folkloric dress. Okay, I guess. Then what does it say about the meaning of the card? There are times when you may feel stuck in the past, but this is your sign to let it all go. Look into self-care and freedom techniques that will assist you in gracefully overcoming the sting left behind by old wounds. Limbers, agua, refresco. Limbers are like not shaved, but like fruity ice cream. But it's not ice cream. It's more like a sorbet, I think. But like frozen. So it's hard. And you just have to crunch it. It's good. It's also good for a hot summer day. Oh, the beauty pageants. Each dress, by the way, signifies something different. So that's interesting. There's the flames and the rainbow, and there's a bird, and there are butterflies somewhere, and there's a snake, and there's a star. So it's just interesting. Here we have another mermaid and another pirate. And El Mosquito again. And buried treasure. Oh my god. And we have a woman reading tea leaves. This one has me stumped as well. But okay. I guess this is more of an intuitive reading deck. This one does give the feel of the 10 of Cups. I want to be her. I want to be in the beach drinking from a coconut and looking at a crab. So here is a confusing card because it says Knight of Cups. And usually knights are alone and riding something. So I would think that the Knight of Cups is her riding on the horse. But then we also have this figure who is prepping the coconut. Potentially for the Princess of Cups. Who knows? We have a mermaid as the Queen of Cups. And there's a bottle with an eye. And for some reason she has the bra with the Puerto Rican flag, which I don't necessarily like. I would actually prefer her to be nude, or at least have it covered with her hair if you want to cover it. But that's just me. And finally, the King of Cups. Who is he? This card illustrates the Haitian voodoo Loa Agwe, who rules over the sea and marine life and is the patron Loa of fishermen and sailors. And the shark. Look at this. my walkthrough of the Secrets of Paradise Tarot along with the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, and this has been long, and I hope you're still here. If you are, thank you. If you're not, I understand. Let me know what you think of this video, and if you like, give it a like. If you don't like, you can give it a dislike. I don't control you. You're your own boss. So yeah, you'll see me in the next one. Bye.